This is a quick video just going over how to make the stair step figure with the holes in it. I am trying to do the dimensions from memory, so before you copy this exactly, make sure you double check the dimensions on the drawing. So I'm going to choose the XY plane for my sketch, and then what I'm going to do is, starting it at the origin, I'm just going to use the line tool to roughly sketch out the shape that I want. And I am doing this with the touchpad, and you know how I feel about the touchpads. So, okay, so that's my rough shape, and then I need a circle somewhere in here. Okay, and so what I haven't done is I haven't paid any attention to the actual sizes of these things. So, because I know I'm going to dimension it now. So to dimension the side lengths, you can click on your dimensioning tool and type in those dimensions. So I believe it's 4 and then 4. Now, what will get interesting is you actually don't need to put in every single dimension in every single spot. And what will happen is if you try to do something like that, Fusion will yell at you and it'll tell you you're over dimensioning, meaning that whatever you're trying to put a dimension on, it already has a dimension based off of other things. I'll see if I can show you what I mean. So I'm going to put the 2 inches here, and then I believe this is 1 inch. Now, in doing this, if you think mathematically about it, if this is 4, this is 2, and this is 1, then this piece right here has to be 1 because it has to add up to the 4. So if I try to dimension that, notice it says over constrained sketch, and it says this dimension would over constrain the sketch, create a driven dimension instead. We're not going to do that. A driven dimension just means that they would show what the dimension was, and then this little error message pops up down here. So if you do see that, that's what that is. Like, there's only one length that this segment right here could be, and so Fusion kind of yells at you when you try to dimension it. All right, I think this is 2 inches there, and then we have 1 inch here. Okay, and then this piece here would also be 1 inch. I think that's right. Or, no, you know what? I think this one is 1 inch, and I think that's 2. Okay, like I said at the beginning of this video, make sure you double check what those dimensions are supposed to be. Now, I'm not sure what was going on in the screenshot that I shared in class, but a lot of students were putting some extra lines in here, and I have to go back and look at exactly what that sketch is. You don't need any other lines. But notice that when I dimension it, you get these lines that are popping up. These are called dimension lines. And you kind of want the numbers in a location where you can see what they're measuring, but they're not in the way of anything. So you wouldn't want to put the, like, let me see if I can move it. Like, you wouldn't want to put it like right there. Just because it's cluttery, it's a little bit too close to the edge of the figure. You're kind of obscuring the 4, and so we pull them out, not way far away, but like a comfortable distance away. There's no hard and fast rule for that. It's just, that's the idea. To dimension the circle, you can just click on the circle, and this is a 1 inch diameter circle, and we haven't talked about it yet, but that weird symbol there, the circle with the line through it, that is the symbol for diameter. And then you can see inside the circle that it's a diameter shown. Now, the tricky part is locating the circle in the right location in the figure. So it is supposed to be 1.5 inches from this side down here and 1 inch away from this side over here. So the way you do that is you're going to click on the center of the circle. Okay, that's the defining point of the circle. Now notice it didn't look like it did anything until I moved the cursor off the circle, and then you can see that the center is highlighted. Click down here, and then you can kind of pull this off to the side, again, just so where you can see it. Okay, and then I think these are the other lines that students were drawing in. They were drawing in those lines. That's called a leader line. I think it's called a leader line. I get that confused with one of the other lines that pops up. the ones on the drawings, but it's just showing what this 1.5 is going to. So it's the distance between this segment and the center of the circle. And then to dimension the other side, again, I'll click on the center and then I'll click over here. And I want to put this measurement somewhere where I can see it, but it's not necessarily in the way. Okay. And I think it's these other lines that were on here that students were trying to draw. If you look closely, they're a little bit thinner than the object lines on the outside, but not much. So I can totally see why we'd be putting those lines in there. So that's fine. Again, double check all those dimensions just to make sure that I've got this right. I think this is the 2-inch one. And when you got it right, go ahead and finish the sketch. And I'm just calling your attention to right down here, if you can see where my cursor is, that just, it's the sketch and it's creating this little timeline. Now we want to make this 3D, so we're going to do an extrude. And the way you're going to create that hole is you're just going to select everything except the hole. So it's going to extrude everything around it. If you want to pull, oh, wait, this is why I don't like touchpads. Just kind of experiment with it. But you do want a 1-inch extrusion. So I'll go ahead and type 1 inch in there. And then to save it, you can come up here to file and you can save that way. And I think some people were clicking on the save icon. I don't really want this saved for my purposes, so I'm not going to go ahead and save it. And then hopefully you'll be able to access this if you're doing this on your student laptop. You'll be able to access it from your Fusion account when you're back in the app. If not, you should be able to access it from the student laptop in class, so it's not a big deal. So I hope that this video helps clarify how to go through the design process and some of the things that you might see happen along the way.